Before I get into the individual funds, I do want to get into the TSP calculator. And don't be so alarmed at looking at this Excel, right? So a bunch of crazy numbers. So I'm going to walk you through it. And you can download this retirement TSP calculator by just going to firesightshare.com/contact. It is completely free for you to use, okay? And I also strongly encourage you to sign up for my private membership program so that you can join my private Facebook group. I think we're pretty close to 100 people in there. And we also do group coaching sessions. So just check that out on my main YouTube page. But anyway, let's assume that you get the 5% employer match under FERS or BURS, all right? And I'm going to say that you're starting your career at age 25, which is right here. Okay, you can type in whatever age that you are right now, and this year is 2023, and your base salary is $45,000 a year. I'm going to make it realistic, right? For a 25-year-old making $45,000 a year isn't so bad, right? And let's say you have nothing invested so far, and you want to do with a 5% personal contributions, that is $2,250 plus your employer contribution at $2,250. So that's a total of $4,500 in your TSP in that 1 year, right? And this is also assuming that you get an annual salary increase. So I put $2,500 annual salary increase adjusted for a cost of living adjustment or promotion, right? So if you get a step increase or going from GS7 to GS8, or you become an E5 to E6, or you're O2 to O3, whatever that might be. So to make it realistic, I just made it, just about $100 per paycheck, all right? But the key here is to increase your TSP contribution right here, just by 1% every year. Your ultimate goal is to save at least 15% of your income towards your TSP and invest the other 10% towards Roth IRA or other taxable investment accounts. And I teach about the rule of 25, which means you want to save 25 times your planned annual spending saved before you retire, right? And I also believe you need to save at least 25% of your gross income to retire comfortably. And you can check out all of my videos on financial independence and retire early, or the FIRE movement, linked in the description below. But I understand that saving 15% can be very difficult if you're making less than $70,000 a year on a single household income. And this is why I'm being realistic by starting with just 5% with a $45,000 a year in income. So if you retire in 20 years and increase your contribution up to 15%, and that's not until way later, right? At age 35, in your TSP with an 8% average annual return, you're looking at over $512,000 if you retire at age 44. And obviously 15% is not the maximum. You can go as much as you want as long as you have room left in your budget. But when you retire or leave the workforce, you can't contribute to the TSP anymore, right? So you'll just leave that money where it is and keep it growing until you turn 59 and a half. Because of the power of compound interest, your TSP will continue to grow from $512,000 at age 44, okay, to $1.75 million at age 60 if the portfolio performs on an 8% average annual return. And 8% is very conservative, all right? Because we're still getting about 12% return on the S&P 500 in the last 10 years. I know I get a lot of flax on this, that 8% is too much. Maybe do 7%, 6%. And I get it. You can download this spreadsheet and do it on your own if you want to do 6% or 7%, okay? But with a 4% withdrawal rate, that's $70,000 a year just from the TSP at age 60. And could you live on $30,000 a year? Just in pension and $70,000 a year from your TSP? I think it could, right? But take a look at this. Let's say you want to keep working, you love your job, and you want to retire at the age of 55. And age 55 is actually the earliest you can start withdrawing from your TSP under the rule of 55. But remember that you can either retire, quit, or even get fired from the job and start collecting your TSP as long as you're 55. So between ages 55 and 59 and a half, you don't get penalized for the distributions, but you will owe income taxes on them. And if you have traditional TSP, you'll get taxed on the entire distribution. And if you have Roth TSP, you'll get taxed on the interest and earnings, but not the contributions that you made because you already paid taxes on them. And the government can't tax you twice for now anyway. No, I'm just kidding. No, they can't. But keep in mind that if you do all Roth contributions, your employer match is still going to be in the traditional portion of your TSP. So you'll still have to pay taxes on the employer contributions. So anyway, let's say you keep working at the federal government until age 55. So with a 15% contribution rate, right? So it's the same concept. You start with 5% and all the way to 15%, right? This is the most conservative contribution here. Same concept, $2,500 annual salary increase. You're going to have $1.5 million. And this is at age 55, okay? So age 55, assuming that you still contribute just 15% of your income, okay? And with a 4% withdrawal rate, that's $60,000 a year just from the TSP when you retire at 55. And if you get $30,000 a year in pension, same example, that's a total of $90,000 a year in retirement at age 55. And if it continues to grow 8% annually, and let's say you want to withdraw $60,000 a year at age 55, okay? This is your annual withdrawal from 55 to 60. You're still going to have, it's crazy, $1.9 million in your TSP by the time you turn 60. But let's just say you choose not to touch your TSP because you want to keep working or whatever reason. So I'm going to go ahead and delete these. Then you're going to have $2.3 million invested in your TSP, which is about $92,000 a year with the 4% rule. So the question ultimately comes down to is if you want to withdraw at age 55 at $60,000 a year or age 60 at $92,000 a year, and it's completely up to you. And also, I understand that the market is different, right? So this is the average annual return. When you look at the performance chart, which I'm going to show you that later on, you want to keep in mind that it is not a 8% every single year, right? So if you look at like all the way from 2005, 2006, what was it like 10% one year, 12% one year, and then last year it was negative 18%. But you basically average them up and you just divide it in however many years that you calculate. Let's say 10 years, you can put 8% if you want to. The S&P 500 or C fund itself, it's about 12% in the last 10 years. But I want to make it as conservative as possible. If we get 12% return, hey, that's even better, right? So I'm going to give you another scenario because I have a lot of clients who feel like it's too late for them to start investing. Okay. So, they're like, I'm in my mid 30s or I'm in my early 40s and I feel like I can't retire. I understand the feeling. I didn't start investing until I was 31. Right. And I just maxed out my retirement every single year. And my result was incredible. I'm going to do a net worth update later on this year, but the savings rate absolutely matters more. So let's say you got nothing invested so far. You're in your mid 30s, and I'm just going to say you're 36 years old right now. Okay. So the maximum contribution limit for TSP in 2023 is $22,500, not counting the employer match. So the income portion of the spreadsheet is now irrelevant, okay, because you're maximizing your contribution every single year. So if you're 50 or older, the maximum contribution limit is $30,000 with a $7,500 catch-up contribution. And if you're in a dual income household, you want to take advantage of that by maximizing your TSP contribution. And if you max out your TSP every year from age 36 until age 55, you'll have about $1.4 million invested in the TSP. That's $56,000 a year with a 4% withdrawal rate. That's not bad, right? And if you decide to work until you're 60, that's almost $2.2 million or $88,000 a year in investment income. And it's never too late. It's never too late to start investing. Trust me on this, because when I was 31, I thought I was too late, and I started investing, and the results were crazy. And I get this question a lot, right? And am I too late to start investing? No, you're never too late to start investing. You saw that even just by investing 5% of your income and increasing your contribution by 1% annually, you're going to hit the $1 million mark by the time you retire. However, if you're just now starting to invest in your retirement, so the age still matters, right? You will have to contribute more or maximize your contribution to hit $1 million in your TSP. You will have to be much more aggressive with your savings rate in your 40s and 50s. And if you're watching this in your 20s and 30s, the time is on your side because you have more years to maximize your TSP contributions. But you won't have to invest as much as in your 40s or 50s to get to $1 million. And the best piece of advice I ever got as an adult a long time ago is to maximize the contributions every single year starting now, because you can't look back and contribute to the years that have already gone by, right? So you need to remember that your savings rate absolutely matters more than how much you make in return from the stock market every year. Contributing just 5% every year will almost get you nowhere near your retirement goal. If you just do a flat 5%, you'll get nothing, right? As a matter of fact, it's very likely that you won't have enough to just live on the TSP investment. But if you're just starting to invest in your TSP, you need to start with 5% because you don't want to leave free money from your employer on the table. The sooner you increase your savings rate, the better. But make sure that you have your budget figured out before you maximize your TSP contributions, because I don't want you to be cash poor because you contribute too much to your retirement.